Hello and welcome to a Cars.co.za video. Yes, that's a huge Chevy Silverado. We are in Palm Springs, California, driving the 7 Series range of cars. So that's i7, normal 7 and X7. And right now I am in the i7. And those of you that are eagle-eyed may have spotted in the back there, those are cloth seats. So why does the 7 Series have cloth seats? I shall explain in a little bit. First, watch the roll-in.
Dream, search, drive. Cars.co.za.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
So, the all-new 7 Series. I'm sure many of you have seen the pictures, and I don't think we can start off a 7 Series video without addressing the design. So, the front has these kind of split lights, very aggressive design at the front. Yeah, the kind of 2-tier lights, and then that cascading grille, which just seems to get bigger with every generation of BMW that comes out. So why did they do it? We kind of put that question to a few of the designers. They said that feedback from customers said that the 7 Series looked too much like a 5 Series. So as the kind of halo product for BMW, they wanted to make it as differentiated as possible from a normal 5 Series. So we get this out of this world kind of design, huge grille, 2-tiered light, lots of flash. But there is also another reason why it's designed like this. Before, in previous generations of 7 Series, their target customer was generally sort of wealthy, older generation, let's sort of say 50 plus kind of age group, US market or European. But now 42% of 7 Series clientele are 35-year-old Chinese buyers. And you cannot trust a 38-year-old to design a stately car. They want flash. That is why the target market for this car needs a design like this. But aside from the looks, there's a lot more going on here. Firstly, this, as I said, is the i7, which is all electric. It has a huge 101 kilowatt hour battery. It's good for about 600 kilometers worth of range and 450 kilowatts. So it's kind of like an M7-ish in power if they were to make one, which they don't. But yes, it is a very powerful but quite long-range 7 Series electric vehicle. Obviously it charges super quick. Can take up to 190 kilowatts of charge per hour, so you can charge really quickly. It's like 30 minutes to go from 0 to 80% if you want to do that. So back to that cloth seats. You can't see it here because this is like partially leather. Here's the leather part. This is the cloth part, but it's not actually cloth. It's cashmere wool, and you're gonna have to tell your mates that every single time they get into your car, because they're just gonna call it cloth seats, and you're gonna be like, no, it's cashmere wool, and they're not really gonna care. Yeah, I actually really like these. These are cool seats. You do have the option of leather, and I suspect when it comes to South Africa, we will have black leather. Ooh, and on the South African note, we will have the 740i, the 740d, this i7 as well, and they are trying to get hold of the 760i as well. So from 2023, when they launch it, that's what we'll have, 760, maybe towards the end of the year. So there's your localized 7 Series range. So some of the other interesting aspects about the 7 Series that are all new and different, the dashboard has completely hidden air vents. So there are no visible air vents. Although if you look kind of like along the joints, you can see where the air comes out, or you can feel where it is. It's okay. I mean, you get the air, but it'd be nice to kind of like have a better understanding of which way the air vents are facing. There are little like rubber switches here which you can move the air around with, but it's not immediately intuitive, as are the electric doors. So the doors there are 2 buttons to open the doors. So you've got a button here and it automatically opens the door. So the door is fully electric, like an electric tailgate kind of thing. So you push it and it opens, and if there's someone standing there, it won't hit them. If you park too close to a car, it'll open far enough that it doesn't hit the car kind of thing. But when you've got to leave the car, you need to push a button on the outside to close it, and most people are just going to kind of close the door. And if you've ever closed the tailgate against the electric motor, it makes that like sound, and it doesn't sound like it's good for the electric motor. So that's kind of something I think it's a little bit gimmicky, if I'm honest. I'm not convinced by the electric doors, but they are something cool to show everyone when you're entertaining them around your car. And I've just accelerated and noticed that the car sound, because obviously it's electric, it's quiet. The car sound was designed by Hans Zimmer. Those of you who don't know Hans Zimmer, he does a whole load of movie sounds like Interstellar, Pirates of the Caribbean, and like 100 other movies that you'll remember. So inside here, it kind of all sounds like Interstellar. It's like a anyway, do with it what you will. It's quite cool. It has adaptive cruise control, obviously, but the regeneration takes care of adaptive cruise control in its own way. So it spots a car in front of you, and then it automatically adapts the regeneration to kind of keep your distance to that car the same. So if you're coming up on a car quickly, it'll increase the regeneration until you are at like a safe distance, and then hold you at that distance, reducing and increasing the regeneration as you get closer. So making the most out of regeneration rather than just like driving flat out into the back of a car and then smashing the brakes full of regeneration. It's a more effective way to regen. It is quite cool. It is a heavy car though, I'm noticing that. Like the brakes you really have to push to get a car stopped. And that is one of the things with electric vehicles. They are heavy. In fact, the lady who kind of was in charge of the powertrain aspect of this car, she says that the batteries on this car and electric motor and everything combined to make it go, the electricity part of it, weighs 650 kilograms. Now, if you compare that to the ICE version, even the 760i, you're looking at like 200 kilograms for the engine and gearbox. So it's over 3 times as heavy. Now, when they handed me the keys to this thing, they didn't actually conventionally hand me a key. What they gave me was an iPhone, and this iPhone here is the key to the car. It's connected to the BMW app, and the BMW app allows you to monitor a whole load of systems on your car, like how much range it has in this case, where it's parked, you can turn the lights on, you can hoot the horn, you can find it in the parking bay. There are a whole load of cool things you can do with that. Infotainment for the new 7 Series is all new. You've got a huge screen up front here. It's got an all new operating system on here called OS 8, and it introduces a whole new iDrive system. Interestingly, the first ever car to have kind of a rotary dial in the front here was the 7 Series. Other cool 7 Series facts are that it was the first car to come with a digital speedometer, as far as I know. That's just remembered that. Facts. And part of this whole operating system is a thing called My Modes, which is like loads of like preferences stacked into modes. So instead of having like before where you had like efficient, sport plus and comfort, those kinds of modes, now you've got a whole lot of different modes. So if I select here, you've got personal, sport, efficient, expressive, relax, theater, digital art. But basically they then adjust every conceivable thing on the car. So they adjust things like the lighting, the air conditioning, the seat massaging, the sunroof position, the sound system. They adjust pretty much everything. Obviously the drivetrain and the power delivery as well in certain modes, and the suspension settings as well get adjusted. It's interesting. Those of you that can see the screen in the back here, that is a 31-inch 8K screen. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. wireless charging bay in the front here, as you'd expect. Easy, simple connectivity here. So instead of going through all the Bluetooth menus to connect your phone, what you can do is you can just say connect phone, and there's a QR code. You scan your phone to that QR code and bang, your phone's connected immediately. And then you've got Android Auto through that, or Apple CarPlay. All of your phone connections come through there, everything. It's the easiest way I've come across yet to connect your phone to a car. So I quite like that functionality. As for the actual quality of the 7 Series, it's nice. It's a very digital car. The heads-up display is magnificent. That's got to be the best heads-up display I've seen yet. It picks up what's in front of you. So there was a motorbikist in front of me, and it picked up that there was a motorbikist that had like a little graphic of like a scooter guy, which was quite cool. Yeah, it picks up the cars in front of you. It obviously does your lane detection as well. But it's not an invasive lane detection. A lot of that's the first thing in cars in South Africa I immediately disconnect is lane detection, just because if you even go near a line, it vibrates the steering wheel, buzzing alerts go off, and it fires you back into whatever you were trying to miss. So this is a less invasive system, but still is effective. So when you get to the line, it gives you a little buzz to let you know that you should probably move a little closer to your lane. But if you make a maneuver away from your lane, it doesn't automatically pull you back, which some of the systems in other manufacturers do. Maybe not in the premium sector as much, but definitely in some of the medium-sized SUVs, they can be a little bit aggressive. As for the size of the 7 Series, I did say it was nearly 6 meters long. The wheelbase is now 13 centimeters longer as well. So that's where you've got loads of legroom here. They actually, in the press material, they show a guy actually lying down, because you can take this front seat and you can fold it in half and then put your feet up on that seat if you're a backseat passenger, which apparently 7 Series buyers don't do. 7 Series buyers like to drive the car more than be chauffeured around, which is strange considering that their major market is Chinese, which tends to be a backseat market. I promised you a backseat show and tell, so here we have it. Here's more of this amazing cashmere wool seating, and you've got a little pillow in the top here, which is amazingly soft. It is really, really luxurious in here. Like I said, I like this. I think I would choose this over the leather, although whether you'll have it as an option back home is not confirmed yet. Little latch here gives you a USB port and a place to hang your jacket if you wanted to. And then in the center console here, got an armrest, a wireless charging pad, your drinks holders fold out like that, and they go back. But the key part about the 7 Series' interior at the back here is this huge 32-inch screen. So you access it via the door panel here. You've got your own iPhone, Samsung sized screen here. You scroll, and then you've got a display button, and you can fold down this huge screen. And then it sits like that. 31-inch 8K resolution. And what's cool is when you actually watch it here, you can kind of still see the road underneath, so it takes away that car sickness that a lot of people get from watching screens and not being able to watch the road. So yeah, you can put anything you want on here. You can cast from your phone, Amazon Fire TV, Netflix, whatever you want, you can kind of throw up there. Now that's stylish rear passengering. So you got everything here, man. Prime. Oh, it's a touch screen as well. I just found that out. That's super cool. Yeah, rad. Yeah, then the other things you can do from here are you can up and down your blinds. You've got blinds for all the windows. You can even move the sunroof here if you want. I'm not sure if you can have the sunroof open with the screen. Let me see what happens if I open all. You can have a whole load of glare on your screen because you've got the sunroof open. So I've ruined that shot. That's probably going to be terrible. So let me close all those again. So yeah, it's probably the coolest rear seat I've ever been in. And obviously legroom is amazing. And these are carpets from the plushest Toyota Cressida from the 1980s I've ever seen. Everyone remembers these sheep wool carpets. They're great. Anyway, there you have it. The back seat of the new 7 Series is pretty damn amazing. I've now driven the i7, and yesterday we drove the 7 Series, the 760i, and the X740i. So I drove those yesterday. Obviously, the electric car has that novelty appeal to it at the moment, but the range is actually pretty good. I've got to say, I can tell you, the infotainment screen does take some getting used to figure out where things are. So you are going to have to spend a lot of time with it to figure out how it works, because there are just a multitude of buttons, but it's not invasive like some of the brands make very invasive technology, but this feels like it works with you rather than against you. So I've done 180 Ks in 2 hours and 50 minutes at an average of 20.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So there's like miles and kilometers in the same screen. It's difficult. And I have 237 miles left, so that's about 350 Ks left. So that's pretty decent range out of the electric car. But yes, the novelty factor of the i7 is quite cool. And I suspect if you've got money for a 7 Series, the i7 is probably going to be the one which gives you the most feel or presence for your money. I suspect they'll be reasonably similarly priced within like R1 million, and to a 7 Series buyer, I guess that's quite similar. That's R1 million here, R1 million there. Chips. The 760i was fun to drive. It's definitely the more dynamic. The i7 isn't the one you want to choose if you want to be the driver, or if you like dynamism in your 6-meter long sedan. I think it's 5.9 meters to be exact, but yeah, dynamism isn't really something that you get a lot of in a car this size. But the 760i is the more dynamic car, I feel. I think the 760 is the one you want if you want to drive and take it on sort of long mountain passes, if that's something you do in a 7 Series. I think a 5 or a 3 or a 2 series are better for that. But the i7, it makes more of a statement, obviously, at the local charity function that you attend. So yeah, I think the i7 is probably the one to go for in here. It's as luxurious as a 760. Obviously, you don't have the fuel cost associated with it. Probably a bit of startup costs in terms of it's going to cost more. But then from then on, your charging costs are fairly cheap with your home charger. So yeah, I would pick the i7 if I was going to be buying an i7, which I'm not, because I'm a motoring journalist. Anyway, yes, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Oh, don't forget to, if you want to, sell your car on Cars.co.za. It's free, and you'll get the best price for it, no matter what people tell you. If a dealer wants your car, they'll bid for it, and they'll bid for the best price possible. So go to Cars.co.za and hit the sell car button, or buy a car on Cars.co.za too, if you want.
Thanks for watching. Now, did you know that Cars.co.za has a brilliant app? It's actually one of the most popular apps in South Africa, and that's because it's actually really bloody good to use. You can save your favorites. So while you're shopping, if you're taking a couple of weeks to shop, you just save your favorites so you don't lose them. And it's also a brilliant way of finding new car specs and pricing. It's incredibly detailed. I use it all the time. The link to the app is in the description below. You can get it on iOS and Android, and it's in the Huawei app gallery, I think it's called. Yes, that is what it's called. Cool. Alrighty. And I'm done. Good. Okay.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
Cars.co.za.